Hello my dear student, this is Poonam Dandare, Assistant Professor of Department of Information Technology of Tulsiramji Gaikwad Patil College of Engineering and Technology, Nagpur. In this session we have seen the conversion of Mealy to Mealy machine. So basically Mealy machine is that means output is associated with the inputs, and in Mealy machine and in Mealy machine, that means the output is associated with the states. So in Mealy and Mealy machine we have to generate the output. So basically we have used the 6 tuples in Mealy and Mealy machine. So these 6 tuples are, that is the Q0, summation, O is for output, delta and lambda. So Q is the finite set of states, Q0 is the initial state, summation is the input symbol, and O is the output alphabet, delta is the transition function, and lambda is the output function. So in this we have to see the conversion of Mealy to Mealy machine. So this is the question for that is to convert the Mealy and Mealy machine. So we have to give the 4 number of states, and the input symbols 0 and 1, and the output symbols is also 0 and 1. So in first step we have to find the input and the output symbols. So summation denotes the input symbols. So summation, in the given question we have used the two input symbols 0 and 1. So summation is defined as 0 and 1, and O is for the output. So output is generate, that is the 1 and 0. So output is the 0 and 1. So in step 2 we have to generate the same table. So states, input symbol 0 and input symbol 1, and we have to just write here the all these states, and this table, that means we have to just rewrite the particular question as it is, but do not write the output field, because we in Mealy machine the output is associated with the states. So we have to just write the output here. So first we have to just check that means we have to just check for the state Q0. So Q0, that means we have to just means that is 0 for the input 0. There is a for the state Q1, for the state Q0, for the input 0 it goes to state Q1. So we have to write here the output. So Q1, for that output you have to see the question. So for the state Q1 generates the output, that is 0. So in that case we have to just write here the comma 0. Next check for the Q2. So Q2 state, in question Q2 state generate the output 1. So in that case we have to just write here a 1. So next check for the Q3. So Q3 generates the output 1. So I just write here the 1. Next Q2 generates the output 1. I just write here a 1. Next Q2 generates the output 1. Next Q1 generates the output 0. So I just write here a 0. Next Q0 generates the output 1. Next Q3 generates the output 1. So in step 2 you have to write the output with the states for under the 0 input and the 1 input. So in Mealy machine output is associated with the states. So in second step we have to just write the output with the states, and in third steps we have to draw the transition diagram. So for the transition diagram we have to draw the states. So I just draw here a 4 finite automata, that is the 4 circle, which that is each circle contain the state. That is the first is the Q0, second one is the Q1, third one is the Q3, and last one is the Q4, sorry Q3. So first we have to just, this diagram is drawn to the previous steps, so we have to just refer to the step number 2. So for the, we have to just check for the 0 state. So Q0 it goes to the Q1 for the input 0. So I just draw the arrow, that means Q0 to Q1 for the input 0, and it generates the output 0. So you have to write the arrow in between. So first is the input and second one is the output. So output is means that means Q1 it generates the 0 output. So I just write here a 0. Next Q0 goes to Q2. So Q0 goes to Q2. So I just draw the arrow. So Q0 goes to Q2 for the input 1 and it generates the output 1. So I just write here a 1. Next we have to jump to the Q1 state. So Q1, from Q1 it goes to state Q3. So I just write, give the arrow Q3 and it goes for the input 0 and it generates the output 1. So I just write here a oblique 1. Next Q1, from Q1 state it goes to Q2. So Q1 state goes to Q2. I just give the arrow for the input 1 and it generates the output 1. Next we have to jump to the state Q2. So from Q2 it goes to the self, that is Q2 goes to the self, that is the Q2, for the input 0 and it generates the output 1. Next Q2 state goes to Q1. So Q2 state goes to Q1. So I just give the reverse arrow. It gives the Q2 goes to Q1. So it is goes for the input 1 and it generates the output 0. Next we have to jump to the state Q3. So from Q3 it goes to Q0. So I just give the arrow Q0, that is for the input 0 and it generates the output 1. Next Q3 goes to self, that is the Q3 goes to the self, that is the Q3, for the input 1 and the output 1. So this is the last step from conversion of Murray to Mealy machine. So in this, the first, that means the first term is denoted the input symbol and the second one is denote the output symbol. So thank you for this. Thank you to watch this video. Thank you so much.